In this past update, we received a whole list of balance changes that's going to completely shift the meta. But there are also a lot of indirect balance changes that are going to be just as significant, caused by the fact that you now respawn with only 1/3 of your ammo, at least in most cases. So we're going to look at how this specifically affects every single brawler and see which brawlers are getting a massive buff because of this and which brawlers are going to be significantly worse. So the way we're going to rank these brawlers is similar to just a ranking of their reload speed. But the thing is, I'm going to focus on the time it takes for them to fully reload their ammo after respawning. So essentially the time it takes to reload 2/3 of your ammo. But there are a couple exceptions and changes that you have to make. First of all, there are some star powers that affect your reload speed, so I did take these into account. You have the run and gun star power for max, so since you're going to be moving immediately on respawn, your reload speed is going to be a bit faster. For Amber, you have the Scorch and Siphon star power, which is really useful if you just leave a gadget at your spawn area, because then whenever you respawn, you're going to be standing on oil, and so you'll have that boosted reload speed. So we can take that into account as well. Tick has a reload boosting star power with automatic reload, and then a couple brawlers also have different amounts of ammo. So Carl and B each only have 1 ammo, but you still respawn with exactly 1/3 of that ammo charged up. So you basically have to charge 2/3 of a single ammo rather than 2 ammo like you would for other brawlers. And then Brock, if you're running the rocket number 4 star power, you only reload with 1 ammo, not 1 1/3 ammo, which is what you would think, given that even Carl and B, who only have 1 ammo, still respawn with exactly 1/3 of their ammo. And then finally we have Amber normally, who has technically 40 ammo, but she still respawns with just over 13 of her ammo. So I got every single brawler's reload speed, multiplied it by the amount of ammo left they had to respawn, and ranked all of them. So the average time it's going to take for a brawler to fully reload their ammo after respawning after this change is 3.2 seconds. So these are going to be all the brawlers that are below this average time, meaning compared to the other brawlers in the game, they're going to be worse when they respawn. So in modes like Heist or Bounty, where it's very important when you respawn to really get back into it quickly and defend if you're getting spawn trapped, these brawlers aren't going to have a good time at doing that, so they're going to be nerfed in those situations in particular. At the very bottom, you can see Brock with the rocket number 4 star power takes over 6 seconds to reload the 3 ammo that you need to get. So this star power already was not played virtually at all, but now when you respawn, it just takes even longer to reload that 4th ammo and actually get value out of it. So I think this is just digging the grave even deeper for this star power. Then you also have some really low reload speed brawlers at the bottom like Amber, Mortis, and Piper. When they respawn, they're going to have a really tough time reloading enough ammo to actually deal with anyone who's close to their spawn point. Now Amber does have the option of using Scorching Siphon, which I talked about earlier. That actually saves a significant amount of time, almost 2 seconds. So I feel like you're definitely going to want to use that in modes where it's very important to have a lot of ammo after respawn. And if you do use that, then Amber actually isn't as nerfed as she might look from being second to last on this list, but you are pigeonholed into that particular star power and gadget if you don't want to have that handicap of a really long reload time. But most of the brawlers in this table are definitely going to struggle. There are some ways to cheese some extra ammo, like Colt with your speed loader gadget. Obviously you can instantly recharge to full ammo right when you respawn, so that gadget kind of gets a buff because of the fact that you're gonna need to reload whenever you respawn now. But there are some brawlers that were already kind of bad and are now just getting a little bit worse with this indirect nerf, like Bo, Leon, Penny. They're all going to struggle even more now, which is unfortunate, but at least it's good to know. Now we have these brawlers in the middle who don't take too long to reload, but they're also not particularly quick, so they don't really gain an advantage over other brawlers in that sense. Only a couple brawlers here, since they're exactly equal to that average of 3.2 seconds. Poco and Colette definitely saw play before this change and will probably still see play after this change. Bull and Dynamite, we haven't really seen too much competitively in the past. Probably won't see them too much competitively in the future either. Maybe Bull because of the new trait that tanks have, but overall this reload change isn't going to affect much for these brawlers. But then we get into the top half of the rankings, where we have all the brawlers who reload faster than average. There are a lot of new brawlers right at the lower end of this section, like Stu, Colonel Ruffs, Belle, Lou, Gale. All the chromatic brawlers and recently released ones are going to be getting a slight buff, even if they weren't already pretty solid in the meta as it is. But I think the most notable thing about all of this is that at the very top, excluding Carl and B for now because they only have 1 ammo, the top brawlers that are going to benefit the most from this change are all tanks because they all have a very fast reload speed. Edgar, El Primo, Frank, Bibi, and Rosa all sitting there at the top of these rankings with a very fast time to reload. So right after they respawn, they can quickly get into it and get back to using a bunch of the attacks on their opponent. This is great for defending in Brawl Ball because you just want to sort of spam damage as much as you can to ensure that your opponents can't get a goal. It's great in Heist when your opponents are on the safe. You want to make sure you can get them off that safe as quickly as possible, and these tanks are now going to get a lot better at doing that compared to all the other brawlers. And this is on top of the buff that pretty much all tanks got with the new trait that lets them charge their super a lot easier. So this really supports the fact that we're really headed into a tank meta. Tanks are going to be very good from now on, not only because of the trait, but because of this reload change. It's going to make them better in a lot of situations that other brawlers now aren't going to be good in. So that is something you really have to consider when choosing which brawlers are going to be good in this upcoming meta. Of course, Carl and Bea also get a very strong buff because since they only have one ammo, they don't really need to reload much of anything when they respawn, and so they're not really going to be changed from this, whereas every single other brawler now has to wait a bit longer to do the same amount of damage that they would have to do before the update. Carl and Bea don't have to change any of that, so that's definitely going to be buffed to their kits. Bea is already really good for countering tanks, so she's going to be a very strong brawler because of that, in combination with this benefit from the reload speed. And Carl's definitely going to get a bit stronger as well, even though he did get a bit of a nerf to his attack speed. But that's going to be the complete ranking for reload speed. You definitely want to keep these numbers in mind. It might be contributing to why some brawlers feel a lot weaker or a lot stronger after this update, even if they didn't really receive any balance changes. And hopefully Supercell doesn't change this amount that you respawn in the near future, because I'm going to have to remake this video otherwise.